Okay, let's try this again. I don't know what Instagram was doing. Okay, welcome again to another Wisdom Wednesdays. So today, what I wanted to talk about, I had actually planned on doing this series about a month ago before anything with Instagram and Facebook happened that was all weird. And so it just happened to coincide that Instagram and Facebook went down and nobody could access their social media for a whole day and people really started freaking out. And so I wanted to do a series that I'm calling Beyond Social Media about what we should be doing in our business to market and to really get to our clients in a way that doesn't involve Facebook, that doesn't involve Instagram. Because if we've learned anything from any of those, it's that we don't own those, right? We don't own Instagram. We don't own Facebook. We have no control about whether or not they work. We have no control about whether or not our content is being seen. And so it's important to have different avenues and ways that you can let your clients or your potential clients know about you, give them information. So that way, when things like Facebook and Instagram aren't working, that you have other ways to communicate with your clients. So I didn't want to start with like the email list, because if I'm sure everybody got inundated with this is why you need an email list and all the reasons why, which I will talk about. I think next Wednesday I'll talk about having an email list. But I wanted to start with actually something that a lot of people don't do too much of, but is actually really good for your business, and it really helps you get found on Google, and it's good for SEO purposes, and that's blogging. So why would you want to blog in your business? Blogging doesn't have to be super time consuming. It can literally be twice a month. I post on my blog about twice a month. But what blogging helps you do is helps Google and other search engines keep your website being found. Why does it do that? Well, Google in particular likes websites that are frequently updated. And so if you're constantly posting new content to your websites, it helps essentially like ping Google that your website's still relevant, and it's more likely to pull up your website in search results in different ways for you to be found. And so if you're a service-based business, if you're a product-based business, it's a great way to just continuously get your SEO up so that way you can be found on websites. So blogging for me, there's a ton of different benefits that it comes for blogging. I, of course, blog about things that relate to business strategy. I have free principles on my website that I let people know about. But blogging is just a great way to add additional value for your clients. So you can nurture your warm leads. It's giving out free information essentially to potential clients. A lot of times people will come to your website, and if you have a blog, they're going to scroll through different things on your blog that might interest them. And then that's how you can start to get people on your email list. It's starting to get people familiar with who you are. So it's a great way to add additional value. Blogs are, of course, also longer form, so much more than we can share on a simple Instagram post or on a Facebook post. We're allowed to share more about our expertise on a blog. And so it's a great way to just add that additional value for potential clients. It's also a great way to create a Pinterest funnel. So if you haven't heard, Pinterest as a social media, I don't really consider it social media, even though it is. But Pinterest is a great way to get people to your website. And one way to get people to your website from Pinterest is by having blog posts, because as you can see, if you've ever been on Pinterest, they have pictures, they have images about all these information that you're sharing, and it leads to people's website. And the good thing about Pinterest is that it's a longer form. It has longer staying power than content that's put on Instagram or Facebook, because Instagram or Facebook are more rapid. Things are changing every day. That content that you post is only good for maybe a certain amount of hours, probably not even 48 hours. Anything that you post tends to get lost in the feed, whereas Instagram will constantly recycle, or Pinterest, will constantly recycle your content. And so if you're posting a blog post on Pinterest, it's going to constantly get shown all the time to different people, which is going to help bring people to your website and help you get found. For example, I have a Cinco de Mayo principle on my website that I made probably back in 2017, and to this day, it is still the biggest driver of traffic from Pinterest to my website. So it has staying power to bring people to your website, and it can help you show up and show that you're creating this value, that shows that you're knowledgeable about what you're talking about. And just helps you get found. I already talked about Google and how it can create visibility in Google. It's a great way to up your SEO scores. It's a great way to just keep pushing your website forward. But you want to create you want to keep updating your website in some sort of way, and blog posts are a great way to do that, to show Google and other search engines that your website is actually active and it has relevant information. Another great way that blogging helps is that it helps grow email lists, right? So if you've ever seen blogs that ask you to opt in at some point, or if you are coming from Pinterest to a blog post and then an opt-in shows up, it's a great way to grow your email list. And email lists are gold. I'm going to talk about email lists later, but having people on an email list is the way to nurture your business. Like, if you are talking directly to people who have found something of interest about you, enough to put in an email address. They want you to show up in their email box. And so having blog posts is a great way to get that email capture, to get them to the website where they can then opt into your email list. You're creating on your own platform, right? So I said this back when Instagram and Facebook went down, but we only own two things: our email lists and our websites. And creating on your own platform allows you to talk and speak and share information in a way that you can control. You control when your website's working. You have more direct control, as opposed to like servers and things aside. You have more direct control, and you can talk directly to people who are interested in your content on things like blogs. And so having a blog on your website is a great way to just communicate and create on your own platform and not have to worry about content being lost on things like Facebook or Instagram, or content being deleted. You get to own your platform. You get to speak directly to who you want to talk to. And it helps just people, it helps build that value, knowledge, that like, no trust factor. It's going to help build that, but it's your platform. You own it. You control what goes on it. You control that it's up, that it's visible, that it's always there. Blogging is also a great way to showcase your credibility, right? A lot of the times when it comes to making sales in any part of business, whether you're a service industry or whether you're a product producer, the reason why people buy from you is, like I just said, that like, know, and trust factor. And how do you get them to know you and like you and value you? It's by creating credibility. You want to show that you know what you're talking about. For example, one of the reasons why I do Wisdom Wednesdays is so that you guys know what I'm talking about. So that way, if you are interested in finding a business strategist, you know that I know what I'm talking about. And so blogging helps convey that. It helps you zero in, hone in on your niche, talk about things that show off that you're credible and that you know what you're talking about. And it helps establish you as a thought leader, as an industry expert in whatever your niche is. And so that way, when people come to your website and they go to your blog, they'll be able to see that you know what you're talking about. They'll be able to see that you can give information and that you have value, and they're more likely to then purchase from you. Blogging is also a great way to repurpose content. So I'll let you in on a little secret. The way that I do a lot of my content is I will essentially have a Wisdom Wednesday topic. I will turn it into a blog post. I'll turn it into an Instagram post. It's a YouTube video. It goes out on my email list. Blogging is just one way to repurpose your content. We have to remember that not everybody takes in content the same way. Some people are more visual. Some people will like the interaction of having lives and want to be able to listen to you. Some people want to watch a live replay or want to go to YouTube and prefer to take in content that way. Some people are more want to read more, taking content as reading versus visually, right? As opposed to looking at content. So having blog posts and repurposing your content into blog posts is a great way to get people content that they may consume differently in a different way. It also is a more longer form content, like I mentioned. So it's a bigger way to convey more information than you might via email. People aren't really going to read long form emails, but they're more likely to read a long form blog post. So it's just a great way to repurpose content. It's also, again, a great way to tap into new leads. So when you have passive leads coming into your website, those are people who are somewhat interested in what you're talking about. You can help nurture them into new leads for your business. If in service-based businesses, we all want people to go ahead and book that discovery call or book that package. By getting them in through a blog and then having them show off, like one blog can say, if you're like this blog, related content, you might also be interested in this post. It's a great way to help nurture those passive leads and to get them to actually fill out a form, to get into their email list, and to book a discovery call. So it's a great way to just get new leads for your business. People want to work with people who, again, have credibility and know what they're talking about. And then lastly, it helps build your domain authority. So what does that look like? it all goes back to Google. Google likes websites that are updated. So as you keep updating your business, as you keep putting out new content, it's going to establish credibility with Google, and Google will therefore learn more about what you're doing. And in this case, that's a good thing because it's more likely to show your website and content and things like that in search results, which will help you get found. So blogging, it's not necessary for your business, but it can definitely help your business. And it is a great way to create long form content in ways that are digestible and differently than visual media is, to bring new leads to your business, to bring potential leads to your business, to utilize Pinterest the best way possible. Pinterest, again, will always keep showing your content. The staying power of Pinterest is way longer than any piece of content you can put on Instagram or Facebook. So it's just a great way to share your expertise, build that credibility, help build your email list, help your website rankings and SEO. And it's just overall great for your business. So I want to know, do you blog? If so, how does it work for you? Do you like it? Do you feel like it's a waste of time? Are you having trouble blogging? Let me know in the comments. You can always check out my blog. It's by sasha.com/blog. You'll get tons of great information on my blog as well. But let me know how blogging works for you. So next Wednesday, of course, again, it's another Wisdom Wednesday. We're talking beyond social media. Next week, we are going to focus on email marketing and why you need an email list. I didn't want to do that one first. I know it's been drilled into y'all already, so that's why I started with blogging. But next week, it's all about email marketing. So make sure you tune in, and happy Wisdom Wednesday.